So I think it's kind of daunting, the whole resume thing and whatever. So I wanted to share this resource. I don't remember if I did it last time, but it's a great resource. So if you literally search up Harvard Business School or Stanford Graduate School of Business, and you search up like resume guide or CV guide, I'm literally using this right now for some internships. It gives you a great, 20-page document with like language, like resume tips to use, language for whatever your resume to do. This one's a bit more extensive, the Stanford one, and then they give you like great examples that you can just copy and paste into Word. And if you have a school computer, you should have Word, right? I'm pretty sure Word is Word on a school computer. I don't know if it is now, but last year it was on a school computer. I used that. Great resource if you're looking to make a resume or cover letter. So I highly recommend doing that. I just want to share it because I'm using it right now. I thought it'd be helpful.
You can also get Word for on your personal computer using your school account.
Yeah. All right. So, is Sanjeev here? You here? Wait, I'm just checking if you're here now. Who did this one? All right, I'll be here. Yours?
I just sent mine.
That's fine.
All right, you're here. Aditya A, are you here? All right, that's 5, and you just sent yours?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll see.
Oh wait. Oh, I sent it to your email. So
Send to the TJHSST one. That's what? That's 4?
From school
Alright.
account.
What do you think would be a fair time to present? Like, would 2 minutes be enough? Since we have a lot of time. 2 minutes are good? Yeah. Alright, so here's what's going to happen. These guys are going to present their industries, which they've been working on for the past couple of weeks. And at the end, it's whatever. You send it?
It's not. I have it on school account.
Alright, I'll just put up on my personal.
Okay.
So at the end, I'll probably ask a question. If you remember from our presentation things, the most important thing is explain the why behind it. So as you're presenting, make sure, if you're gonna bring up a number, explain why it's useful, what it is, what the context is. Don't just like say the number. So hopefully there's some progress. I'm not expecting like 10 out of 10 like McKinsey style presentations, but as long as we can improve from the last time, that's all that matters to me. Is this the one?
Yeah.
All right. Any of these 5 volunteers that want to go first? Let's start with the juniors. Yeah, that's fine. All right. If you want like 2 minutes or like more, we're a lot of time.
I'll take 2 minutes.
Alright. Alright, I need everyone also to quiet down. We're recording this so that if you do want to use it and like later you can like cut the video and use that. So if everyone can be quiet, that'd be great, just so that if your video quality is better. I'm not going to disturb you at all, so you just have 2 minutes to talk about whatever you want. Alright, you can start with if you want to.
Alright, hi guys, my name is Abi and I did an industry analysis on the defense industry. So just some overview, the market cap for the defense industry in 2023 was about $613.18 billion. And the estimated 2030 market cap is going to be about $646.8 billion. And the expected compound annual growth rate is about 0.67%. And in the defense industry, there's a lot of key players, but 3 of the main ones are the United States, France, and Russia. So now on to some market leaders. So there's 5 companies: Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and General Dynamics, all ranked by their market cap. So Boeing, for example, they do a lot of aerospace and they manufacture a lot of flights and space ships and all that. Raytheon Technologies, they're more focused on like military operations aspect. They make machines that are used in warfare and combat. Lockheed Martin, same thing as Boeing. They make a lot of planes, mostly contracted by the Air Force. Northrop Grumman, they're special because they created the first line of military-grade robots, which have been used in combat. And finally, General Dynamics, they're more focused on the energy side of the defense industry. So some key drivers, the US government actually invested $116.1 billion into this industry in 2021. And the U.S. places the defense industry at a very high level, meaning that like they'll spend a lot more resources on the defense industry than a lot of others. Also, the U.S. wants to maintain a benchmark status, which means that they kind of want to be seen as the superior power by other countries, and they kind of want to be seen as overall like something that other countries should replicate. There's also threat vulnerabilities. So this also links with the fourth bullet point, which is increased global unrest. A lot of conflicts are breaking out right now, and the U.S. wants to maintain a sort of, strong defense so that they don't have to face the day where that defense is gone. And some concerns for this industry. There's greater constraints being put on the defense industry. A lot of companies are being restricted by what they can do, what machines they can build, and everything. Mission readiness is another thing that's been debated a lot by many skeptics, because a lot of companies are pushing out their products without any testing, and that's contributing to a lower mission readiness. And finally, there's too many regulations, goes with greater constraints. The U.S. government's placing way too many regulations on what the defense industry can do. And here's just a chart. It's not that visible, but it's just all the leaders of the defense industry. So that would be the United States, Russia, and France, with their market caps in those countries. This is the U.S. defense spending from 2015 to 2021. As you can see, there's like a slight increase throughout the years, with a little dip in 2018. And finally, this is the U.S. defense market. So this is the 2023 market cap, and this is the estimated 2030 market cap. And yeah, thank you.
Cool. Alright, so I guess more of a current events question. So obviously, we all know what happened on October 7th. Hopefully people in here know what happened on October 7th. It was breakout of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I guess how does U.S. policy in the next couple of days, or how is that going to shape the defense industry?
Yeah, so a lot of aid has been sent to countries like Israel, and overall, while America's not fighting in the war necessarily, they'll try to invest more in their defense leaders to send more technology and machines to the battlefield. And even with the Russian-Ukraine war, same thing happened in 2022.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. Let's go, Abhi. I represent this.
Hello, so my name is Ali, and I did an AI industry analysis. So I think it's first, we can see that the market size of this industry is $150.2 billion, and the growth rate is 36.8%. And this is led by a lot of like trends such as generative AI. We all saw how in ninth grade for a lot of us, but like last year, like we saw the introduction of like ChatGPT, and soon after that we saw a huge like rise in AI stocks. So the introduction of many of these apps which are being introduced to the world like every day, it really helps the AI industry grow. A second thing is that AI is also being applied to a lot of other areas in the world, such as healthcare and cybersecurity. There's one company, it's called Upstart, and they're using AI to help lending. So they're like partnering with banks, and they're like seeing who's like the best fit to provide like loans to. It's just an example of how AI is being like applied to a lot of other sectors. And maybe like 2, 3, or 4 years ago, like we didn't have like this much AI use in our world. A third trend that we can look at, it's a very fast growing industry. Like we can see a lot of AI companies they're coming to like birth like over the last few years. There's a lot of like chip companies like TSM, which boosted their production for chips over the last year. And when you have more supplies like chips, it increases the AI demand. Another thing is development in AI techniques. I'm not that I don't really study AI, so I'm not really sure like what exactly these techniques are. But over the last like, couple of years, there's been a lot of different like tools which coming out like reinforcement learning and stuff like that. I think it's also worth to note some concerns related to the AI industry. One like major concern is that a lot of AI stocks are overvalued. Like people invest in it so much that the stock of the price, it rises like much more above its true value, and this creates a true risk, especially creates a bubble where like if there's a rapid increase in stocks that could like come down like crashing at any moment, and this is a huge issue that every investor has to see before they invest in AI stocks. Also, there's a lot of increasing like government regulations on AI, like they're debating safety and the ethics of its use. So it's also like worth seeing that. Also, a few like market leaders in AI are TSM and NVIDIA. They're creating chips for AI use, and especially the company right here. Over the last year, its stock price has gone up like really high, and it's because of the AI demand has increased so much that they have to create more chips. Also, two of the companies I'm sure everyone has heard of is Google and Meta, and over the last couple of years, they've also increased like how they've used AI. And Google, when it first started out, it wasn't really an AI company, but as the world is changing, it's slowly incorporating AI into all of its products. And I think what we can see across all the companies in the industry is that they're very like different from each other. You won't notice like one like same thing in everything. Like compared to TSM and Meta, they're both in the AI industry, but they do like two completely separate things. Also, I have a graph here. It shows that how these colors you probably can't see, but it shows like different like regions of the world. And by 2032, it's expected that the AI use and demand in every single region in the world will rise by a lot. And here's the compound annual growth rate that I explained earlier, 36.8%.
All right, cool. Do you have a question? You have a question?
So how did you arrive at 36.8%?
I didn't calculate that. I found out online.
Can you talk to me more about one of the market leaders and specifically what they offer?
I'll talk about Google. Google uses AI in a lot of stuff, such as its search engine. A lot of the things that you like search, it like provides you like options and results related to what you have, and a lot of its ads that it gives you, like Google AdSense, they also use AI.
So I noticed you mentioned increasing government regulation. As you know, recently their lobbyists are lobbying for regulation of AI. How do you think that's going to affect the current projected growth that you have until 2032?
I think it might like hurt that rate, because especially if a lot of those laws are passed, it's gonna like it's gonna tell people that it's not like safe to invest in AI. So of course I think it can like drop the rate.
All right, cool. I think that's probably enough questions. Let's get to other people. Let's go Sanjeev. All right, you can start when you want.
Alright, so my industry was the oil industry, as you can see here. And the oil industry is basically the extraction, refinement, transportation, and marketing of oil. So the market size in 2020 was $13.2 billion US dollars. And it's projected to grow to around 50 billion by 2030 at a growth rate of around 17.4%. The current market leaders are United States, Saudi Arabia, and Russia, and as you can see by this graph here, they control most of the market. So some company market leaders are Saudi Arabian Oil Co., which is like all of Saudi Arabian oil, Exxon Mobil, Chevron, Shell, and PetroChina. So some drivers for the oil industry is the demand for cheap and reliable energy. So as the population increases, there's more demand for cheap energy. And the oil industry provides most of that energy, so they bring in more revenue as the population grows. Also, the number of wells planned for any site is also increasing. So basically, this can increase the amount of oil that the industry has at any time, which will increase their profits as they're able to deliver more natural oil to customers and meet the demands. Also, the shift towards more mature oil fields is also helping drive the market as like the quality of the oil, I guess, is going up. So more people are interested. So there's many concerns for the oil industry. So the first one is environmental concerns. So as you guys might know, the oil industry is like leading as a leading problem for climate change. So the government wants to like steer away from it kind of. So it's not very future proof and stocks could decline like in the future. Also there's lots of price volatility in the oil industry. So recently the Ukraine and Russia conflict drove up gas prices by around 42%, I think it was. And this shows the volatility of the oil industry, and many people might opt to like not, invest in it if the price is like very often. And also there's lots of alternative energy sources. So the oil industry isn't very future proof because there's lots of like other energy types such as solar energy that are like better for the environment, which makes it more appealing to the customers.
Cool. I guess I have a couple questions. So I don't really remember, but I'm pretty sure Saudi and U.S. relations are pretty much in toss for the past couple months. Do you know anything more about that? So I know like Saudi and U.S. governments have been sort of debating over the oil prices and their trade for the past couple of months. Do you know anything more about that?
No, I'm not really sure.
All right, that's fine. All right, well, thanks for coming up.
Are you talking about like the G7 prices?
Yeah, I think it might have been that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but I just remember.
I'm pretty sure they cut the barrel to. I remember I explained it earlier. I think it was like where Russia, the UN, G7 group of nations put a price cap on Russian oil where they can't sell it for more than $60 a barrel.
Yeah.
Right. And because of that, now all the major, like for example, China and India, they're all buying oil from Russia because it's like 30% below market value. And since Saudi Arabia controls OPEC, right? They're just saying like, hey, you can't do this because now it's
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I was reading something about Blinken, who's the Secretary of State. He was just in Saudi. He was just pressed about the oil stuff. I didn't spend time reading it though. It was good to know you know about it.
Also, the Israeli-Palestine conflict, like the Middle East might not sell shares.
I don't know if the Saudis will like stop selling to the U.S.
And then, wait, also Biden sold off half of our oil reserves.
Oh yeah, that's like they've been selling it since like what 2020. We'll see. All right, let's see who's next. Armand, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, try to stick to like under 3 minutes at least.
Okay.
All right, you can start when you want.
Hey everyone, my name is Armand and I did the cloud services industry, which is a really large industry for a ton of developers. So just an overview, the market size is around 500 billion and it's expected to keep growing. Right now the growth rate is 14.1%, but with the increase in AI, this is going to skyrocket in the years upcoming. So right now the market leaders are AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So Azure specializes in security, Google Cloud kind of specializes in artificial intelligence integration, and AWS is pretty much good at everything. So some of the trends right now, so like I said, the AI industry is on the rise, and that means that the cloud industry is also going to carry on with them and also rise. And another trend is the rise of financial operations, which kind of helps with the payments or financial management of these cloud services, because any developer knows that when you're dealing with cloud, the major thing you have to think about is cost, because it can go up immediately and things can tally up. So a lot of concerns for cloud services right now are, so the main one is security, and it's because like depending on, so like I said, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud are the top three, but for smaller businesses, they'll have to reside for one of these five, or maybe even create their own. And the problem with that is that security is not going to be perfect, and data breaches, hacking, all that is possible, and it can really ruin a business. And so for security issues, this can ruin the cloud service industry if many of these security issues happen to them. Competition is one that's not really talked about at all, but this pretty much means that each of these companies are going to want more and more customers, and to do this, they may want to lower the prices of their services to attract more customers. And this is going to, in essence, lower the profits that these markets are going to make. Compliance issues. So this kind of deals with the governmental aspect of it all, where they may limit things for these cloud services to provide. And if they limit, let's say, I don't know, too much storage, then they're gonna get fined. And the fines can be up to like $1 million. It can be a lot of money, and this will definitely allow some like cuts for these big companies, and definitely these little companies as well. And then cost management. This is the biggest one of all, because if these companies can't pay for the service itself, then these services aren't going to get money from them, and then profits are going to go down. And that's a major problem right now, and this was a major problem during the pandemic, and they're still trying to recover from that.
All right, cool. Any questions?
Yeah, so I was just wondering, like, in comparison to, a company as a whole, do you know how much these like cloud services scale up to like overall profits, and if improvements in these services would make that large of a dent in their profits?
Are you referring to like the leaders in the market? Okay, so I think so. What do you mean by like dense though? Like, are you talking?
I mean, how big of a company's profits, or yeah, I know I'm saying generally, but you probably researched these. How big of
Are you asking like how important is the cloud industry to these companies?
So for any development companies, I can name a few like Deloitte, SEIC, Microsoft, pretty much everything. They're going to have to use like cloud services, like Walmart, for example, to store each and every single item. Right? It's going to take up cloud data. Or like back to our AI presentation that Avi made about artificial intelligence. Many of these market leaders also specialize in artificial intelligence cloud-based systems, which is basically relying on a good environment to perform these machine learning tests on. And so that's something that many companies definitely need.
I think to answer your question as well, if you look at AWS and Azure especially, when Amazon was sort of staggering with their whole business model about e-commerce, they're looking for different ways to sort of make profits and like sort of get into different industries. So if any of you guys watch Twitch, you probably know that Amazon bought Twitch a couple of years ago. So these big companies, which are sort of trying to turn into monopolies to an extent, they're also trying to dip their toes into different industries. So I know when Amazon started AWS, they were super excited. If any of you guys are watching football now, you've seen a couple of those AWS commercials, which is talking about data analytics with their services. So they're trying to go all in on these emerging sectors. I know for Azure especially, Microsoft is a hardware company, which means they specialize in like laptops, like I have one right now. So if they can like sort of get a better stake, especially with Windows 11, and sort of integrate with their new cloud services, that's also something that's super important for them. But overall, great presentation. All right, that's our last one to do to you. Yeah, you can start when you want to.
Alright, so my industry was hardware. So the market size for this industry was about 121 billion in 2023. The compound annual growth rate was 8.9% from 2022 to 2023, and the leading countries were just basically the world leaders, and which companies are reside in these couple of countries. A couple of concerns that they have are something like pollution and energy problems. And in pollution, making these hardware like computers, phones, and PC parts, it makes a lot of pollution inside the environment. And also, it's hard to create a sustainable energy source to do these stuff. Another thing is that it's very unpredictable for the future of hardware, because there's things like AI and things that are coming from the outside that are getting integrated into hardware, and that's another problem. A trend is actually artificial intelligence because it's getting integrated into a lot of it, and because it's getting integrated, there's new products coming out. Also, for another trend is that for these hardwares, there's more networks like 5G, and that improves like the rate of how it works.
Alright, cool. Okay, so we're talking about hardware, just like tech hardware in general. I guess can you talk more about what 5G hardware actually looks like?
Well, like, it basically only works for like the new kind of stuff. And because 5G is like going everywhere, there's more space for improvement inside each device, and the power that's going into each device can like improve.
Alright, cool. I guess there's one thing I wanted to bring up on like 5G in general. Another thing that you guys could look in for is real estate investment trusts. That's what RIT is, right? So, for example, a company that I'm invested in is American Tower, and especially with the whole 5G movement. Basically, what they do is they set up the towers themselves for 5G to work on. So I'm sure if while you're driving around, you've seen a bunch of these. And those play a pivotal role because network companies like Verizon and AT&T, they rent out spaces on these towers, and that's how they use their 5G networks. So I guess 5G is pretty important in that, sure, the technology is there, but also the infrastructure about it is pretty important as well. So just a point I thought I'll bring it up. Any other questions? Yeah, sure.
How do you expect like the fall of Chinese labor to affect the Chinese companies? Because there's more in-depth analysis at the surface level that Chinese labor is like rising, and companies are increasingly moving to assembly plants in Mexico and India. So how do you expect that to affect?
I would expect like Chinese companies to increase in their size, and they would like be even more like higher on this list of the US, UK, China, and France.
Alright, cool. Thanks everyone. Alright, is there anyone else who wanted to present in these last 8 minutes? Alright. Yeah, just get back.